confidence. Effortlessly, you let them know who is in command. You just that and more. Don't forget it. God worked hard on you for sure. Lexus, Exodus. Shout out to my exes.
Class is in session every weekend with Sunday School with Lex. Connect with like-minded Black women every Sunday at 6 on the Lexus Exodus platform, where we have live panels and call-in shows in order to connect and share our stories, discuss divestment and other important topics pertaining to the plights of Black women, discuss self-empowerment and self-improvement, and much, much more. Tune in every Sunday at 6 p.m. ET at patreon.com/LexusExodus. See you soon.
Hey, boos, hey. It is Lexus Exodus, leader of the Black Women Exodus. How are y'all doing? And like always, if you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe. Please share. Please comment in the comment section. Let me know that you're listening. Also, if you enjoy listening to my content on the go, the show is now available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for audio listeners. Go check out my Patreon community where you can get access to bonus episodes and exclusive content and also a private community of like-minded divested women. It is linked below. Please also follow me on social media platforms. You can check me out everywhere on all platforms at Lexus Exodus. I also have a backup channel just in case something happens to this one. It is called LexX. That's LEXEX. You can find all of this information in the description below.
Can I vent to y'all for a second? Can I vent y'all? I haven't shared much of my personal life lately just because y'all know I used to be a lot more transparent about what was going on in my personal life, but I had to reel that in a little bit just because I realized everybody doesn't want the best intentions for you. I don't want the haters who be cloud watching to send bad energy my way. So I don't normally vent like this, but I feel like venting tonight. And if you guys are listening to the playback, if you want to skip to the show, go ahead and skip in. I'll make sure I timestamp when things initially get started. But right now, I just got to vent. So this past year has been insane for me. Like financially, it's just been insanely prosperous. I've done the best I've ever done my entire life this past year. And for me, it's wild because I come from very, very humble beginnings, y'all. Very humble beginnings. And I talk about this, and I used to be very vocal. Grew up in Section 8 housing, grew up very, very poor. My mom maybe made like $15,000 a year. Like she didn't even work full time. She worked part-time as a janitor, and that's what we lived off the entire year. So Section 8 housing, infested with roaches, projects, very, very poor. I'm talking about food stamps, government cheese, all that. And I didn't have many role models growing up. So my aspirations were based off of what I saw. And what I saw around me was janitors, housekeepers, and not really many professional people. No one went to college. And so for me, my aspirations, I remember the only person who had a real job growing up was my grandmother. And I remember saying to myself, when I grow up, I just want to have a desk job like my grandma because she was the only one who had a quote unquote real job. So anyways, I surpassed that, went to college and, easily surpassed that. I was able to get a telemarketing job at a desk at the age of 18 and ended up surpassing what my father was making as a janitor. I think I was making like $13 an hour back then at the age of 18. Was able to surpass that very easily, surpass my parents very easily. And so after I got my college degree, I remember telling myself, man, if I could only make $50,000 a year, then I'd be set. And this is y'all. And it sounds so silly and crazy now, But this is when you come from nothing, you really don't know where the baseline of your expectations should be because you don't know any better. All you know is everyone who's around you. And so you base your aspirations off of who you're surrounded by. And this is why I think it's so important and preach that it's so important to watch the company that you keep because you are the average sum of the company that you keep. It's really, really important to be around people who challenge you and encourage you and motivate you to do better. So, okay, so I'm like, okay, 50,000 a year, 50,000 a year. So went and got my master's or whatever, still wasn't able to make that. Finally got a big girl job, ended up tripling my salary, got a corner office. So surpassed that in my mid 20s. Then I was like, okay, baseline is gonna be once I make six figures, and that's when, oh my gosh, that's when I know I finally made it. Was able to hit that pretty easily in my 20s. And so now at the age of 35, I am well into the six figures. And last year, like even my 9 to 5 was the most money I've ever made. My bonus, just to kind of set the tone of what we're talking about, my bonus was $25,000. And I remember living off of that. I remember living off of, what is that, like $11 an hour, if that's what you make a year. I remember living off of that for an entire year. And now that was just my bonus play money from work. Then I have all these other streams of income. And so one of the things that I've been really focusing on heavily is I decided to start taking courses on real estate. So I started investing, started buying different multifamily properties. I just had this full circle moment that I need to talk to y'all about because I feel like I'm in the twilight zone and I just have to unpack this. So just recently, and I shared this with the group, the mods know this. So just recently I had an offer accepted on a duplex, a multifamily home, a 6-bedroom home, 2,500 square footage. One side is vacant, one side is occupied. And so I'm like, okay, cool. Send me the rent roll. And a rent roll is just like, exactly what it sounds like. So just like a payroll, a rent roll is just a historical documentation of that tenant's payment history. And that's important because I don't want to buy a property if a tenant doesn't pay rent on time. Okay, so I look at the rent roll, y'all, and why the person there is a woman. And she has an ethnic name. It shows her first and last name. I'm not going to say her name because I know y'all trolls be trolling and be cloud watching. I don't want y'all to go and find this lady. She has a rare name. She has a black name. So let's just say LaQuisha. I'm just going to call her LaQuisha. Obviously that's a black woman. And she moved in August and is already delinquent. And so the current owner asked me, okay, so you have two options. If you buy, you can go ahead and evict her because she's past due on rent. I've been working with her because she is currently in the process of getting assistance. So you can also wait until she gets assistance. I Googled this woman. This woman is 36 years old. She works at a warehouse. She's 1 year older than me, and she has 3 children. And she's unable to pay $950 in rent. And I'm about to get emotional. I don't know why I'm getting emotional about this. This is why I wanted to just talk about this with y'all because here I am. If I buy that house, she would essentially be paying my mortgage. Okay, she would be buying the house for me. The other half of the house, once I rent that out, would just be play money, would just be pocket money. She would be paying my mortgage. And here she is, older than me, with children, and she is months behind on $950 in rent. And when I say like, oh, this is just like a Twilight Zone moment for me because y'all know, like, I believe in this Black woman advocacy for real. It's not just something on the channel. Like, I am such as tough as I am and as no nonsense as I am when it comes to everyone else. I have a soft spot for Black women. And so I had a vulnerable moment where I was just like, damn, I remember being in this woman's position. I'm removed from it, but I'm not that far removed because I remember in my early 20s not understanding or, how to pivot professionally, not knowing and really, really trying though, diligently trying to find different opportunities to take care of myself and my child and barely making ends meet. And that was with one child. And so for me, I'm having this very surreal moment right now where I've been able to surpass standards that I established years ago. And I'm having all of these moments where, I literally have to pinch myself because it's like I probably spend $1,000 a month. And this is just me being real. I probably spend $1,000 a month just on entertainment, y'all. Quite honestly, just because we'll go out and spend a few $100s on a Tuesday for lunch, just going and having appetizers and a few drinks. It is a very strange feeling to have something that is someone's shelter is my lunch money. And so I had to come to my senses because I had a vulnerable moment where I was like, well, maybe I should just go ahead and still, buy this house and can work with her. I wish someone, help reach back and help me. If, I only had 1 month or 2 months to get caught up, then I would do that. And then I'm like, what the bitch? Like, you can't be a landlord and just be empathetic and be sweet and be a sweetheart to everybody. Not saying that you just need to be stone cold Scrooge and be kicking people out in the corner on Christmas Day. I'm not saying that, but it's business at the end of the day. So I had to catch myself and just be like, what? I can't save the world. But anyway, so for me, it's just been such a transition. Moments like this are very full circle because it's like, wow, look how much progress you've made, Lex. I almost said my name. I need to talk to my therapist. Y'all know this is lethargic for me. So y'all my friends. So I wanted to unpack that with y'all. Just like, I'm wondering if you all can relate, to just having those surreal moments where coming from humble beginnings, if any of you listening were able to totally do a 180 and totally change the trajectory of your lineage single-handedly, how was that? And how did you handle that? And how did you come to terms with that? And so I'm interested in hearing y'all's stories and also hearing you guys' experiences, grappling that experience, being the first to go to college, being the first to be a successful entrepreneur, being the first to be a successful investor, being the first to whatever, I don't know, being the first to make six figures, being whatever, just how you guys are able to grapple with that. And then also how you're able to come to terms with just being on the other side of that and having those aha moments. Because when I tell y'all, like, I cried, like I broke down, like, damn, no matter how far removed I get from being in the projects, I still remember it like it was yesterday. And it's so wild being on the other end of that. And even just having the power to be like, nah, evict that lady. That's the crazy part. I'm going on a tangent now, but this is why it's so important for Black women to have ownership in things, because we know that the majority of people who benefit from real estate and who have built wealth in real estate don't look like Black women. I remember growing up, we had Jewish slumlords. And I just wonder if there were more Black women in real estate who looked like Black women who own these properties, what would the implications be for every Black woman? Just think about if you come from humble beginnings like me, just seeing like your mother struggle and worry about bills and worry about the next month how to make the mortgage or how to keep a roof over her head. How different would those conversations have been if the people that your mother or that you were renting from, if they were Black women like you and I? So I don't know. Okay, so I got that off my chest. Child, thanks for listening to my TED Talks. I may just edit this out because I didn't mean to rant for that long. But anyway, So let's get started, y'all. I wanted to talk about this idea about Black women being slaves. So I came across this very thought-provoking post from an older Black woman who said that Black women never were freed. They only changed masters. Okay? So she said Black women were never free from slavery. They only transitioned to different masters. And she expounded on this in the caption and talked about how although we were legally freed from slavery, we did nothing but become subservient and property of Black men. And I wish I could find the original post to state this as eloquently as she did. If you all know what I'm talking about and came across this post, please share the original creator's information so that I can credit her. But I thought this concept was so thought-provoking and so interesting because when you think about it, it's absolutely true. So slavery involves subjugation. We often hear Black men talk about wanting a passive and submissive partner that they can dominate. We know that slavery involves exploitation, often actual exploitation and domination. And we also know that this type of objectification and exploitation is normalized in Blackistan culture. You can deduce that simply by turning on the television, watching their movies, listening to their music, watching them dehumanize and demean Black women in their videos. Slavery also involves extreme violence and genocide. And we know that Black women had the highest DV and femicide rates at the hands of Black men. So I'd like to unpack this comment, this observation tonight, because I think it is very valid. I think it is very accurate. So let's get to a few examples that illustrate this. So let's get to this first clip that talks about this concept.
Point, I just have one question. What did Black women do to Black men that was so bad? What do we do historically that was so bad to where in current present day, y'all seem to be enjoying the violence we receive? Y'all seem to take enjoyment in the lack of protection that we have with y'all. What did we do? Because it was not us lynching y'all in droves during Jim Crow. We were getting lynched with y'all too. It wasn't us that put crack in the streets, that fucked up our homes. We was on it with y'all too. It wasn't us that mass incarcerated y'all. We was in prison with y'all too. And it angers me because historically, we have been right there with y'all through the bullshit. My great-grandmother, my grandmother, my mother, me, we have been there with y'all in the trenches, suffering at the hands of white supremacy right there with y'all. And y'all are mad at us for what? For what?
Okay. And this has gone viral. And this young woman has elicited such a visceral response from trigger mammies who are upset that she told the truth. So let's watch this response.
I just have one question. What did Black women do to Black men that was so bad? What do we do historically?
The Garden of Eden, feminism, Black Lives Matters, so on and so forth. We have chosen historically other communities and ourselves over the Black man. In 1960s, the Black man and Black woman was married at a higher rate than anyone else. They went off to war. Both of these parties worked. So we have to stop the fallacy that our grandmothers were stuck in these marriages and did not work. TANF was created for poor white women that did not want to return to work when their husbands was off to war. So when our husbands came back home with PTSD and alcoholism to wives that were now crackheads and prostitutes, they were forced to sell the same crack cocaine, and they were now incarcerated. Now these women started to receive TANF checks, and we picked the side of the government over our men. That's what we have.
Shall listen, and this is just one of several triggered pick me, choose me responses to this woman's clip. I'm not even sure where to start. There's so much to unpack here. But let's start off talking about how this first woman illustrates exactly how Black women never became free from slavery. We simply changed masters. So she talks about how Black women went from being lynched and systemically experiencing genocide and having our lives ended by slave masters to experiencing the very same violence and femicide and genocide at the hands of Black men. And how progressively we went from being mistreated while in bondage to being mistreated, hated, and denigrated by Black men. Then to add insult to injury, instead of answering her questions and addressing her concerns in response, Droves of Black women are deflecting and denying and antagonizing and trolling the original creator. Just like this one crackhead little bit with the red eyes that we just listened to. Listing all the reasons to justify Black women being treated poorly. This bitch said feminism in the Garden of Eden, y'all. The Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden. That's what you've done to warrant having the highest femicide rates in the world, Black women. This is what you've done to warrant being taken out every 3 hours. You gave an apple to a nigga in some faraway fairy tale land. Like, what a dumbass bitch. She also said BLM, which was literally solely created to protect Black men by a group of Black women. But that's what Black women have done to deserve being treated like damn dogs and unalived every few hours. She's so damn dumb. She talks about how Black men who went to war returned to wives who are crackheads, y'all. It's like, you dumb. You too dumb. You don't even know that those are two completely separate eras. This is how uneducated and illiterate you are. Historians denote the crack epidemic starting in 1985. What fucking war were Black men fighting where they came home to crackheads in the damn 80s? You dumb effing bitch. But this is the issue that I'm talking about. This is exactly it. The textbook definition of slavery is that it's a practice where individuals are considered property. It has been prevalent in various forms throughout history, the dictionary said, involving forced labor, exploitation, and deprivation of basic human rights. Collectively, we know Black women are being told by these dusties to fuck, suck, shut up, and submit. We're being exploited regularly. So much so we see these dudes brag openly about being homosexuals and only dating Black women in order to have a place to stay. Talking about being city boys and spinning the block when it's tax time on a baby mama. They'll talk about you riding and dying directly for their benefit. We're being deprived of basic human rights and experience the highest DV rates and femicide rates and are off every few hours. Sounds like slavery to me. Black women were never freed. We only changed masters. Let's look at this next clip illustrating this.
Y'all don't want to hear this, but I'm going to tell you because I love Black men so much. Stop wasting your time with Black women. Stop. They not loving you. They not listening. They not willing to submit. They think they too independent to be submissive and be equal and be a companion and be a comforter and bring you peace. They think they too good for that because they mama told them to go get them a man with some money since they knew how to talk and walk. Go get you a white woman. She's going to get money, have good credit, come with a house and land and still be submissive. Go get you a white woman. Still be submissive. Sure is. They still going to submit and still treat you and love your dirty jaws. Love you on your sweatiest day. And not talk about you to her other Karen friends. She's not going to talk about your business. Go get you a white woman. I'm trying to tell you. Listen to me. Listen. Go get you a white woman. These black heifers don't appreciate you, you black king. Y'all don't want me because I'm too loud. Y'all don't want me because I'm too oversexual, but I'm submissive. I got my own money. I got my own this. I got my own that. I ain't got no sense. But go get you a white woman.
Girl, fuck you. Girl, F you with them raggedy ass Pop Smoke braids. She got the crackhead Felicia braids from Friday. Bye, Felicia. Bye. Is this trolling? And I'll be wondering if I should even waste my breath talking about some of this ish, y'all. Y'all will send me all this stuff with people trolling Black women because that's an effective marketing initiative these days. It's a surefire way to get clicks, views, and clout if you disrespect and degrade Black women. So a lot of these bird brain women do this for clout. So I wonder if she even serious. Either way, girl, fuck you. For real, y'all. This mush mouth bitch, maybe for real. I wouldn't put it past her, though. She sound like she a short bus shorty. She sound like she sat in the same classroom all day in high school. She sound like she wore a helmet to school. She sound like she drools when she speaks. In the same breath, she talks about Black women needing to submit to Dusty's, then say y'all need to be a Dusty's equal. Which is it, bitch? She then proceeds to talk about how white women will love niggas' dirty draws and they're better because of that. Then in the next sentence, calls them Karens. To add a cherry on top, she also talks about how she personally is too loud, but she's submissive. Then adds a little razzle dazzle and admits, without any sense. She wanted to make sure she added that she ain't got no damn sense. Yeah, we can tell you dumb, bra. You dumb bird brain bit. All this double talking mush mouth nonsense. And of course, it's a Black woman saying this. So not only are Black women slaves, they got Stockholm syndrome, and she identifies more with her oppressor, even though she's the victim. But that's how slavery works. That's textbook Stockholm syndrome. Child, where do y'all find these clowns? I forget who sent this to me, but where do y'all find this stuff? They should have never given you niggas microphones. But this is the cognitive dissonance and nonsensical talk of a slave. It don't make no sense. You hear her say women should come with good credit, a house, and worship niggas' dirty draws. So the nigga can be broke, credit score shot. He could be homeless, y'all. And you supposed to provide housing, financial stability, and still submit to him and worship his dirty draws, even though he ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. You see that exploitation they promote. You see that subjugation they normalize. That sound like a motherfucking slave to me. Black women were never freed. We only changed masters. Child, now let's get to Doja Cat and talk about how her brother done knocked her damn teeth out, also illustrating this problematic dynamic.
Doja Cat's mother has revealed that Doja is being physically and verbally abused by her brother. This was revealed in newly surfaced court documents. According to new legal documents that have been obtained by the press, Doja's mom, Deborah Elizabeth Sawyer, filed for a temporary restraining order against her 30-year-old son, Rahman. And in her filing, she makes some serious accusations. Doja's mom lists Doja as another person who needs protection from Rahman. And the reason for this is that Doja's mom claims Doja's had her teeth knocked out by her brother. Doja's mom also alleges Rahman's given Doja cuts and bruises and destroyed and stolen some of Doja's property. In the docs, Doja's mother claims Rahman is also verbally abusive toward his famous sister in a very degrading and demeaning manner. She has also said that the brother has made Doja feel unsafe and traumatized. As for her own safety, Doja's mom alleges Rahman physically abused her and threatened her multiple times over the past year, claiming the most recent incident happened earlier this month. The judge granted Doja's mom court-ordered protection from Rahman, pending a hearing for a permanent restraining order, but did not grant that same protection for Doja Cat, instead saying the artist would need to file her own request for a restraining order. Doja's mom says she had a restraining order against her son in the past, but it's since expired. Many fans on social media are really shocked to hear this news. One fan said, "Men are so abusive. There are way too many stories that surface about men hitting women. Doja's brother is a monster. How can he live with himself knowing that he's been so vile and disgusting to his mom and sister?" Another fan said, "Doja must be so terrified. It must be so confusing to be abused by a loved one as you don't know whether to forgive them or cut them off. I used to dislike her, but I have a newfound respect for her now. She is probably messed up from a lot of family drama she's had." And finally, one more fan said, "Doja is so brave for going through this. No wonder she's so messed up. People need to stop judging her for her mistakes as you have no idea what she's been through."
This is the dusty-eyed Nignog brother.
What's going on, bro? How are you? Any word on what's going on with you and your sister and your family? They're saying that, you knocked her teeth out. That's the accusation. The singer, Doja Cat?
No, I don't know that. Have you got anything to say to your mother or not? No comment. What about your sister? Have you spoken to her about these allegations? No comment, brother. Any reaction to the restraining order against you? No, I have no restraining order against me. Are you denying what happened? Yes. So you did not hit your sister, you did not knock out her teeth? I haven't seen anybody in years, bro. What are you talking about? So what happened? What's the story? There's no story.
At least have your side out there,
Is it true you got violent with your mother? No.
Oh, Lord, child. Where do we start with this? So I've said this before, but I'll say it again. The thing that's most disturbing for me as a Black woman to see celebrities, women of color experience this is if our richest, most affluent Most established and successful women of color celebrities with access to the most resources and protection are getting their teeth knocked out by niggas. What does that say about the vulnerability of the rest of us? If the Doja Cat, celebrity, multi-millionaire, award-winning artist, is subjected to this type of treatment at the hands of black males, what does that imply about the susceptibility of the rest of us who don't have her money and who live everyday normal lives? So Doja got security guards. She done hired shooters. She got top of the line surveillance and security systems inside her home. She has access to the best attorneys and a top of the line legal team as well. If Doja Cat, who was insulated by so much money, resources, and security, is susceptible to this level of violence at the hands of black males, so much so that this nigga was able to get away with knocking her teeth out. And we just saw his dumb ass just walking the streets all willy-nilly without a care in the world. Seriously, what does that say about the vulnerability of the rest of us? And the risk that we experience, the safety risk that we experience on an everyday basis. And the gag is Doja is mixed, child. She ain't even black. She ain't even black. And she's vulnerable in this manner. So what does that say, her experiencing that, about the plights of regular, racially unambiguous, normal 9-to-5, fully phenotypically black women like you and I? It really is terrifying. Same thing with the Meg situation. When that happened, we saw that the backlash she experienced and how the dusty troll, the leprechaun victim almost got off, and how people attacked Meg. Still to this day, they believe that he's innocent. We'll also get to the Nicki Minaj situation and how she was also subjected to this violence and extreme abuse at the hands of an eggnog. I mean, these women are bosses in the boardroom. They are powerful, leading multi-million-dollar empires, commanding and leading teams at Fortune 500 corporations in these spaces, but are still vulnerable and susceptible to being mistreated by broke, flunky, no-name niggas who shouldn't even be able to breathe the same air that they do. I'm telling y'all, black women are still slaves. They were never freed. They just changed their masters collectively. All right, let's get to this Nicki situation. The situation with Nicki Minaj illustrates this, as well as a former friend of Meek Mill is spilling all the tea, child, and has talked about recently how the rapper allegedly was very, very abusive to Nicki, even spat on her at times, and also abandoned her in the woods. Child, so let's watch this.
Tap in. If you from Philadelphia, man, y'all already know what's up with me and Meek, man. Man, I could put her out in the woods. We was always out Jersey somewhere in the woods. They could put her out the house. It's dark and shit out there. I had to go out there and get her. She cried right here. Am I lying, Nicki? Ask Meek's sister. She was there, and her baby father. He was there too. Am I lying, y'all? His mom was there. His mom, yo, I ain't lying. Yeah, we was all family. We started. We was standing at the fucking joint up, like 20th Street or something. We ride. We the down there. We wound up shopping down there. Webster get to arguing with this girl in his mall in his fucking store because she told that nigga, I ain't fucking paying your fucking tag. Go get your money out the fucking hotel. He said, I just got $2,000 on me. Like I can't borrow $6,000 or whatever many $1,000 it is. They arguing real bad. They get to calling each other all kinds of crazy names. This corny dude starts spitting on. I said, yo, you crazy and shit. I told him right then and there, you lost your fucking mind. Nut. Arguing what? We get on the bikes. Long story short, I'm gonna cut this short because I ain't want to say too much. This fucking nut riding down the street, me, him, and Coon. I'm still Willie. I'm riding. I ain't thinking nothing of it. This nigga on Instagram writing a long ass fucking message. This and Drake. Nut just did that because he argued with that girl. All that shit came about that girl. And don't nobody know what that beef was about, do y'all? That was about that girl. Because he was all insecure. And don't know how to have a bad bitch on his hip. He don't know how to be that nigga. He insecure. Telling She can't walk around the house with this and that on, thinking niggas looking at your girl.
Okay, so we see him detailing that abuse with vivid detail, I might add. He is giving granular level information. I also want to share with y'all this clip that's resurfaced where Nicki speaks on this toxicity publicly, and she accidentally almost said that Meek was abusive, but she stopped herself mid-sentence when she realized what she accidentally started to say.
At the end, when we kind of both knew that it was like, too rocky, too bad, And at the end, when we kind of both knew that it was like, too rocky, too bad, too bad.
So do y'all hear this? And y'all, I am not a Nicki fan, especially after she done married that damn rapist who essayed that poor girl as a child, his classmate. But it makes sense that Nicki married someone who victimizes Black women. It also makes sense now that she came to the defense of her brother, who was also convicted of raping his stepdaughter. This is on brand for Nicki. She has a documented history of enabling and supporting problematic men. So, of course, this is how she was treated in her romantic relationship with this nigga. Even though she's a star, she has the money, power, and influence. She partners with dudes who subjugate, exploit, and abuse women. She is the whack man slave. So Meek Mill's dusty, crusty, raggedy, musty, struggle break, funky struggle rap, yelling remedial, retarded ass was putting his hands on the Nicki Minaj. He spat on her, y'all. And I can't stand this woman and the moves that she makes romantically, but I'm not a liar. I'm also not a hater, and I like to give Black women their props. This woman is a GOAT in her field. She's accomplished so much during her music career. Many would say she is one of the best Black women rappers. I don't know if I'd agree with that, but it is undeniable that she is very, very successful. And she's too accomplished, too phenomenal, and too amazing to be dealing with and settling with nignogs who are beneath her like this. She certainly is too good to be this gremlin face yelling at niggas punching bag. The gag is she went from dating woman beater Meek Mill to marrying a rapist who is likely beating her ass as well. Mic drop. And I'm going to pause there because I know the bar is about to get mad at me. And y'all not going to like that. But that's just me calling a thing a thing. And this is coming from a former DV survivor myself. Old habits die hard with abusive men. And based on my experience and based on the professionals, based on the specialists who study DV for a living, that ish don't just change overnight. Abusers find other women to abuse. They display patterns. It takes intensive long-term therapy for abusers to no longer abuse people. That you don't just wake up one day and be like, okay, I'm healed. I'm gonna keep my hands to myself now. After raping a woman. That's not how it works. Her husband is a convicted rapist. He can't even visit parks and schools because of his problematic behavior. He has to legally stay away from children because of what he did. So yeah, and also DV victims typically go from one problematic man to the next. And this is what Nicki did. She simply left one abuser and got married to another one. Are y'all okay, Black women? Are Black women okay? And I'm telling y'all, I make a fraction of what Nicki makes. Obviously, I'm not on Nicki's level. Our bank accounts look drastically different. And I'm much younger than her. And I'm telling you, though, I could never, ever be this effing desperate for a man that I would let a worthless, ugly SoundCloud rapping ass nigga, washed up nigga, spit in my face and abandon me in the woods and disrespect me, treat me like trash in this manner. This nappy head nigga abandoned her in the woods after an argument. Then got mad at her because she didn't give him her money at the mall and ended up spitting in her face, y'all. Out in public. And I don't care what nobody say. That is the most vile, degrading, disgusting thing you could ever do to someone. I mean, punch or hit me before you spit on me. Spitting your bodily fluids on someone, that is disgusting. I wouldn't even do that to a dog. That's something a master would do to a slave. And here we have Nicki Minaj getting spit on by a Z-list nigga way below her pay grade. It don't make no damn sense, y'all. And even more than Doja, we know Nicki got a team of shooters and security ready to knock niggas' head off for somebody just looking at her the wrong way. But this is what she's experiencing. Black women were never free. They only changed masters. What do y'all think about this concept? Were Black women ever free? I mean, statistically, our femicide rates are worse than the death rates of historical genocide, child. What do y'all think about this Doja and Nicki Minaj situation? I'm so curious to hear y'all's thoughts. Please sound off down below. Until next time, see you guys. Bye.
Even if you think I should, bitch, nigga, I don't give
Fellas, if y'all come across a red iPhone, can you please bring it to the sound stage? Red iPhone, appreciate it.